Hello, I'm Vladimir Bello, attorney and partner with Bricker and Eckler LLP.
And I'm Lisa Eshelman, an attorney and commissioner with the Ohio Environmental Review Appeals Commission, and we are co-chairs of the 2010 Mock Trial Case Committee. This year, the Ohio Center for Law-Related Education presents to you Alex Leslie versus Erehwon Local School District.
The 2009-2010 Ohio High School Mock Trial Competition analyzes the proper limitations upon students' First Amendment rights in the digital world. In this year's case, a high school student enrolled in an advanced placement history class is suspended for violating a school disciplinary code after posting comments critical of the teacher on his or her personal blog. The blog was created on the student's home computer, and no school resources were used. All of the blog postings about the teacher were published from the student's home computer, but were accessed by other students through the high school's wireless network. All of the statements to the blog, including those about the class and Professor G. Lee, were substantially true, and the school successfully blocked access to the blog from the school's internet network.
The student has filed a lawsuit against the school district alleging that the school impermissibly abridged his or her off-campus speech. The school argues that it has the authority to discipline the student for the post to the blog because the comments caused a disruption at the school and posed a substantial risk that the high school administrators and teachers were diverted from their core educational responsibilities. The trial for the mock trial competition will focus only on whether the school is liable for violation of the student's First Amendment right of free speech.
The plaintiff will argue that the school district's discipline code violates the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which states that, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, end quote. The student's position will focus on these arguments. First, there is a violation of the First Amendment because the school has punished protected speech. Second, Erehwon Local School District has no authority to regulate protected speech that occurs off school grounds. Third, even if the Erehwon Local School District can regulate protected speech that occurs off school grounds, Alex Leslie's speech is not subject to regulation because no substantial disruption of school activities occurred.
The plaintiff will bring to the court two of the three following witnesses. Alex Leslie, the plaintiff, is the blog creator and was a student at Erehwon High School. Leslie will testify that he or she started blogging about the AP European History class as a way to express his or her views since they were not tolerated in class. All of the statements to the blog were substantially true. Furthermore, Alex will explain that the blog was created at home on his or her personal computer using no school time. Chris Richmond is a student teacher at Erehwon High School. Chris has been assigned to the AP European History class of Professor G. Lee, who is the teacher about whom Alex has been blogging. Chris will describe Professor Lee as a very opinionated person who frequently spends class time voicing personal opinions about current events and politics. Furthermore, Richmond will testify that Lee has the tendency of being sarcastic and mean-spirited toward Alex Leslie and other students who challenge and question Lee's views and opinions. Finally, Dana O. Clark, Department Chair of Erehwon High School History Department, will explain that he or she has known Professor Lee for all of his or her teaching career and believes that Professor Lee and the school's principal overreacted to the blog comments. Dana will also testify on the character of Alex Leslie and how he or she is a good student who enjoys actively participating in class.
Erehwon School District is the defendant in this case. The defense will argue that it has the authority to discipline Alex for the post to the blog because the comments cause a substantial disruption. The school district's position will focus on these arguments. First, schools are authorized to regulate off-campus conduct that creates a foreseeable risk of disruption within a school, and that Leslie's posts were not only a potential disruption, but were an actual disruption. Second, Leslie's blog entries were related to school issues and were accessed on school grounds during school hours. Therefore, Leslie's postings are on-campus speech for the purposes of the First Amendment. Finally, Leslie's blog postings were also a major infraction of the Erehwon High School Disciplinary Code. The code was established to, among other things, foster good citizenship and civility by students, goals that are recognized and supported by the Supreme Court.
The defense will bring to the court 2 of the 3 following witnesses. Professor G. Lee, an educator at Erehwon High School for 18 years, will explain how students talked about the comments posted to Leslie's blog during AP European History class, and that he or she often had to separate Leslie from the rest of the class to maintain order in the classroom. Additionally, Lee will testify that the significant chaos in the AP European History class was extremely upsetting and interfered with his or her ability to effectively teach the materials. Kendall Dell, Director of IT for Erehwon Local School District, will report that there was an increase in access to Alex Leslie's blog during the week that the school principal asked him or her to research, and that he or she also discovered that Alex Leslie's blog was accessed from the school's computer lab and the school's wireless network multiple times. Finally, the defense may call Pat Thompson, principal of Erehwon High School, who will explain that he or she is responsible for enforcing school board policies, including the disciplinary code, and due to the disruption that the blog caused and the direct violation of the disciplinary code, that Alex Leslie was rightfully punished.
Your job is to present the strongest evidence and the best legal arguments that can be offered on one side or another in the hypothetical factual scenario provided in these case materials. The attorneys who have prepared the case materials have based this case upon actual court decisions, with an eye toward framing the facts of this case in a manner that is evenly balanced between the arguments of the plaintiff and the defendant. You should not rely on any court decisions or other legal information beyond that provided to you in these case materials.
The Ohio Center for Law-Related Education and the Case Committee for Alex Leslie versus Erehwon Local School District hope you will find that this case is challenging and thought-provoking. It is our hope that this case will give you a greater understanding of the freedom of speech protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution.